In this video, we are going to be analyzing people who dethrone the Father using Isaiah 6:1 when they marry it with the context of John chapter 12. This is so people know what to do when people are doing this in debates, because this is a common argument that these guys are using who believe in a post-Nicene articulation. Here we go. Now, I want you to notice none of them ever answer this question in this entire discussion. That's the first thing you need to ask them. How does the glory in Isaiah 6:1 cause people to not believe? And I'm going to show you why I'm asking that question. Let's go to the book of John, where they're getting all of this from. So right here, John chapter 12, it says, "But though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him, that the saying of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Lord, who hath believed our report, and to whom hath the arm of the Lord been revealed? Therefore they could not believe, because Isaiah said again, He hath blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. These things plural, said Isaiah when he saw his glory and spake of him." So the reason I'm asking this question, how does the glory in Isaiah 6:1 cause people to not believe, is because I know the glory in Isaiah 6:1 would cause nobody to not believe. If you saw the glory in Isaiah 6:1, you would believe. So it doesn't fit in with this context. Now in Isaiah chapter 53, and even in the end of chapter 52, it talks about a kind of glory that would cause people to not believe. And what John is doing here is he's referring to Isaiah 53 as the main point, and then saying again, and then going to Isaiah 6:10 to support the point he's making in Isaiah 53:1. And all these things were said when he saw his glory and spake of him. Now that doesn't need to mean we go to Isaiah 6:1. And that's my point. They want to go to Isaiah 6:1 because that's how they're dethroning the Father and making Jesus literally that one with the seraphim in Isaiah chapter 6:1. They do that to prove the post-Nicene articulation that they're using of the relationship between the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, where they're co-equal. They're doing that to make the Son Yahweh in the literal sense, instead of the Son of Yahweh bearing the name of Yahweh. So let's go back, and we're going to see how they run away. None of them answer the questions. They all just go off topic. So here we go.
Because the previous verse said he was rejected. And then it said, he said that he was rejected because he saw his glory and spoke of him. So how would the glory in Isaiah 6:1 cause them to reject him when it's the most highest display of glory humanly possible? The display of glory in Isaiah 6:1 would cause nobody ever on earth to reject Christ. However, the glory in Isaiah 53:2 would, because it said they saw his majesty, which was a lack thereof. And in that verse, they use the Greek term doxa in the Septuagint. In Isaiah 53.
So when John is saying Isaiah saw the glory and spoke of him, he's reading that out of the Septuagint.
Isaiah 53:2.
Yeah.
Or Isaiah 53:1. Isaiah 53:1. They use the Greek term doxa. But what I'm telling you is what they're describing in 53:1 is a type of glory that would cause people to not believe. So exegetically, in context, you guys should never, ever be referring to Isaiah 6:1 ever again.
Well, I mean, John is the one that's actually referring to Isaiah chapter 6.
No.
See what he just did there? I said you should never be referring to 6:1. They're just trying to buy time so they could find a way to respond. Now you're going to see them run in different ways. They're going to make a few different arguments. None of them are the same. None of them work. But Alex, What I'm saying is John never went to 6:1. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he never went anywhere in 6.
So again, John is literally going to Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9 and 10. And then right, so he is literally quoting that. He's also quoting 53, no doubt about it. I'm not denying that, right?
Right, but which one would cause him to not? Which kind of glory?
It doesn't matter. That's not the issue. The issue is,
Of course that's the issue. This whole thing has a specific context in the book of John. The context is Jesus had a certain kind of outward majesty, aka glory, in the Septuagint, doxa. He had an outward majesty that caused people to not believe, and Isaiah said all of that because he saw that glory that caused them to not believe and spoke of Christ. Which means you can't use 6:1. Which means the first verse John quoted in Isaiah 53, that's the main topic, and that's why when it says he said again, he went not forward in Isaiah, but he went backward. So even John isn't going in order in the book of Isaiah when he's quoting these verses. The reason John didn't go in order, and I'm going to go back there to show you guys real quick. The reason he didn't go in order when he quoted these verses was because in his mind, when he went to this topic, he went directly to 53 first, and then said again and used the verse in Isaiah 6:10 as a supporting framework for the verse in 53. So the focus and topic of what John was talking about was not in chapter 6. It was in chapter 53. These guys go to chapter 6:1 to make Jesus Christ the Most High God and to dethrone the Father. So let's take a look at it. So right here, you see, verse 37, but though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him, that the saying of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Lord, who hath believed our report, and to whom hath the arm of the Lord been revealed? That's lining up with Isaiah 53. This is the focus, 53:1. Then it says, therefore they could not believe, because Isaiah said again. Now what John is doing is he's saying, this is the reason I'm going to Isaiah 53:1. And I'm going to support that by quoting another verse in Isaiah 6 that lines up with why this is taking place, because God hath blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. That's Isaiah 6:10. And these things, plural, Isaiah said when he saw his glory and spake of him. So why did Isaiah say these things? He said them because he saw the glory in Isaiah 52:14, and then he spake about them in Isaiah 53:1, and then he used a quote from the Old Testament in Isaiah 6:10 to prove and support the idea. So we should not be going to Isaiah 6:1 because contextually, within the storyline, that kind of glory would cause people to believe. And the kind of glory that Isaiah saw caused people to not believe, which lines up with the storyline of this passage.
And you're about to hear that they're going to say that these things is actually this thing, said Isaiah. But if you look up the Bible Hub for this word in this passage, you'll see that it's literally the plural. So these things is perfectly accurate, and not to mention every other Bible translation except for the NIV and the Good News translation translates this as these things.
Right.
So it's clearly...
And the original language does not line up with the singular in verse 41.
Right, you can look it up, go on Bible Hub, specifically John 12:41, and you'll see it says plural.
So what you're going to see now, what they're going to start doing, is in their language when they're quoting this verse, they're going to say this thing Isaiah said. And they're going to try and do that to prove that it only lines up with verse 40, the glory that we need to be looking for. And they're not, they want to make it where we can't put these two things together as one idea and then go back to the book of Isaiah and find the proper glory that suits this topic in the book of John, which you would find in chapter 53. In John, they saw this glory and they didn't believe immediately.
Right.
The glory they saw was an outward majesty of low level of outward glory. When we say they saw his glory let's just go there now. So right here, if you read in Isaiah chapter 52, starting in 14, as many shall be amazed at thee, so shall thy face be without glory from men, and thy glory shall not be honored by the sons of men. Right here we see the Greek term doxa in 52:14, which is the same exact term they're using in the book of John to describe this. So this is what they would be referring to when they're quoting back to the Old Testament. It goes on to, it continues down, and then right here, just a few verses later, it said, O Lord, who has believed our report, and who has the arm of the Lord been revealed? That right there is another verse, the first verse, that John quotes. We brought a report as of a child before him. He is as a root in a thirsty land. He has no form nor comeliness, again, doxa. So this is the glory we're talking about, the lack thereof. This is the glory Isaiah saw that caused the people, which is the same glory the people saw. So Isaiah's mirroring what he saw with what the people saw in those times when Jesus revealed himself. And he's saying they saw a lack of glory, they rejected him, and Isaiah said all these things because he saw a vision of this playing out in the Old Testament. And what they do is they go up to Isaiah 6:1 to make Jesus the Most High and dethrone the Father. They go up to prove, obviously, their post-Nicene Trinity. They go up to Isaiah 6:1 and they say, all these things were said because Isaiah saw this glory. And every time these guys make this argument, they're never honest, nor do they tell people anything about chapter 52 and 53. They keep it a secret. They use this against ignorant people who don't know the arguments, and then they stump them. Because they say, look, he used this verse here in 10, so it must be this glory right here. That's just before this. What is it? We got 9 verses or whatever before it. They go to get it.
Chris, if they were blinded, it doesn't matter how vast the glory was. If you're blinded, you're blinded. That's it.
Okay, so JP, the people that weren't blinded, that did believe, it wouldn't matter how vast the glory was. They could just be struck dead with the glory of Yahweh in his throne room. Everyone could just see the full glory of Yahweh, like you guys believe.
Every believer was like, wow, like that's the holy God.
God took his hand off some people and let them see, and they saw what we're talking about in Isaiah 6:1, right? See, to make this argument, you guys don't think out your arguments. If you want to make this argument, you have to look at the negative side of this argument. So God blinded some people from the glory that you say is in Isaiah 6:1, not Isaiah 53. What are we going to do with the people he didn't blind? Now you have to show me where the people he didn't blind saw what you're articulating Isaiah meant in Isaiah 6:1.
No. Because that example, I'll tell you why. Because that example of Yahweh in his throne room is not an example of them being blinded. That's an example of, here I am in my highest glory. The example in 53 is the example where they did not see his outward majesty, contextually lining up with this verse. And
I think we're reading too much into the text.
Thank you for your contribution. Pretending. All I'm doing is telling you guys what's in the Bible and the context of John chapter 12. And what am I reading into the text?
Nothing. It's obvious.
Like, that's his addition, just so he can be another voice to, like, move the people against me, like I'm outnumbered. So, you know, the hive mind of YouTube could all start cheering, like, oh, he's against him too. Dude, you guys got to deal with the arguments. You got to explain yourselves, guys.